Feudalism was the dominant social, economic, and political system in medieval Europe from roughly the 9th to the 15th century. It emerged in response to the collapse of centralized authority following the fall of the Western Roman Empire, providing a structure based on land ownership and reciprocal obligations. At its core, feudalism was characterized by a decentralized power structure where landowners, lords, granted land, fiefs, to vassals in exchange for military and other services. This relationship formed the foundation of medieval European society, influencing governance, economy, and warfare. Origins and development of feudalism. The roots of feudalism can be traced back to the late Roman Empire, where land was increasingly granted to military leaders in exchange for service. However, its full development took shape during the Carolingian era, particularly under Charlemagne, r. 768 to 814. Following the fragmentation of his empire, local rulers assumed greater power, establishing feudal arrangements to maintain order and defend their territories. This system evolved over centuries, with regional variations across different European kingdoms. The structure of feudal society. Feudal society was hierarchical, structured around the distribution of land and obligations. It consisted of three primary classes. 1. The king, the nominal head of the realm, who granted large portions of land to nobles. 2. The nobility, lords and barons, landowning aristocrats who managed estates and provided military service. 3. Vassals and knights, individuals who pledged loyalty to lords in exchange for land. 4. Peasants and serfs, the majority of the population who worked the land and provided food in return for protection. While kings theoretically held supreme authority, their power was often limited by the strength of individual lords, leading to a highly decentralized system. The Lord-Vassal relationship. At the heart of feudalism was the Lord-Vassal relationship, which defined obligations between landowners and those who served them. This was formalized through a ceremony known as homage and fealty. Homage, the vassal knelt before the lord, pledging allegiance and service. Fealty, the vassal swore an oath of loyalty, promising to support the lord in military campaigns and governance. In return, the lord granted the vassal a fief, typically consisting of land, along with its associated resources and peasants. This arrangement ensured mutual dependence. The vassal received material support, while the lord secured military assistance. The role of knights in feudalism. Knights played a crucial role in feudal society, serving as the primary military force. Their training began in childhood, progressing from pages to squires before being knighted. Knights were bound by chivalry, a code emphasizing loyalty, bravery, and respect for the weak. In times of war, they fought for their lords, often participating in tournaments and crusades to display their prowess. Feudal justice and governance. Under feudalism, justice was primarily administered at the local level. Lords held manorial courts where they resolved disputes, enforced laws, and collected taxes. These courts handled cases involving land ownership, labor obligations, and minor crimes. More significant legal matters were sometimes escalated to higher-ranking lords or the king, but due to decentralization, uniform justice was difficult to maintain. Here is the copied text. The manorial system, economic foundation of feudalism. Feudalism's economic structure revolved around the manorial system, where lords controlled self-sufficient estates known as manors. These estates included the lord's demesne, land retained by the lord for direct use. Serf holdings, small plots worked by peasants in exchange for protection. Common lands, shared resources like forests and meadows. Peasants, particularly serfs, were bound to the land and required to provide labor, produce, and services. In return, they received security from their lords, particularly in times of external threats such as Viking or Mongol invasions. The Church and feudalism. The medieval Catholic Church played a significant role in feudal Europe, often acting as both a landowner and a unifying authority. Bishops and abbots functioned like feudal lords, controlling vast estates and commanding vassals. Additionally, the church mediated disputes, enforced moral codes, and influenced political decisions through excommunication and interdicts. Challenges and decline of feudalism. Despite its stability, feudalism faced several challenges that eventually led to its decline. 1. The growth of monarchies. Kings sought to centralize power, reducing the influence of feudal lords. 2. Economic changes. The revival of trade and emergence of towns weakened the manorial economy, shifting focus from land-based wealth to commerce. 3. The Black Death, 1347 to 1351. The plague decimated the population, leading to labor shortages and increased bargaining power for peasants. 4. Military evolution. The development of professional armies and gunpowder-based weapons reduced the importance of knights. 5. Peasant revolts, uprisings like the English Peasants' Revolt of 1381, challenged the feudal order. 6. The 100 Years' War, 1337 to 1453. Prolonged warfare strained feudal obligations and promoted centralized state power. By the 15th century, feudalism was gradually replaced by early modern nation-states, where monarchs wielded greater control over administration, justice, and military forces. Feudalism was a defining feature of medieval Europe, shaping its political, social, and economic landscape. Its decentralized power structure fostered a system where land and loyalty dictated governance and military service. While it provided stability in a fragmented era, feudalism ultimately declined as monarchs centralized authority and new economic forces emerged. Despite its demise, feudal concepts of loyalty, hierarchy, and land tenure influenced later historical developments, leaving a lasting legacy on European history.